Hey there, friendo. Let me ask you a few questions. First of all, do you love retro side-scrolling video games? It was a trick question. Of course you do. Next, do you have a PS3, PS4, PS Vita, Wii U, 3DS, Xbox One, a decent computer, or even an Amazon Kindle Fire TV? If yes, then that's good. If not, then what the heck is wrong with you? Finally, would you be willing to play a good game that's reminiscent of the classic Mega Man games? Or would you like to drink at least 16 ounces of window cleaner while playing something like Mega Man? If your answer is the latter, then pick up my number 9. If, however, your answer is the former, then thank God, you better pick up yourself a copy of Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is a retro-styled game that harkens back to the gameplay of classics from the NES era. Yeah, it's another indie game in this kind of style, but it does it well. It's not just a game that throws on retro graphics for the sake of pandering to the nostalgia of gamers raised by old-school games. It's a great, colorful title that takes classic platforming elements and gives its own unique twist on things. If I were to simplify this review, I would just yell at you all for the next few minutes to buy this game, but I'm not going to do that now. I'll do that later. The story of Shovel Knight begins with... hell. You probably don't want to hear about this. I'll just say that there's this villain named the Enchantress or whatever, who is set to conquer the land with her 9 quarters, and you, the Shovel Knight, have to stop her. I think your best friend is kidnapped by a weird medallion thingy, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The story doesn't matter. I don't have to tell you that the gameplay is where Shovel Knight truly shines. You've probably heard others like IGN gush over the game a bunch of times, so you don't want to hear it from me. However, I'm going to gush anyway. This game is amazing. Seriously, it's nothing short of fantastic. Shovel Knight takes everything you know about great, classic NES games, purees them with a touch of blue and a trowel, and then pours it out into a glass of modern gaming. You know that bouncing cane move that you could do in DuckTales? You can do it in this game, except with a shovel. Did you like the map from Super Mario Bros. 3? It's back in this game, shovel style. Remember those infuriating, frustrating moments from the Mega Man games that pissed you the hell off, but made you want to keep playing until you beat the level? Well, holy Jesus Christ! It's in this game too, with the same blue shade, but of course, with a touch of shovel. In terms of bringing it back to the classics, this game has it all. This isn't to say, however, that the game is entirely based upon nostalgia. The game stands on its own. Each level has something new and exciting about it. The game reminds me of Mega Man a lot, which makes sense, since the game was of course inspired by it, but levels are more platforming based than Mega Man. Every level also has a hidden relic in it, to find new, secret areas, but you don't have to worry about if you miss them, because if you do, you can just buy it at the village. Because of this, the game encourages you to explore the levels. I was on my 5th or 6th playthrough of this game when I was recording this, and I was still discovering new things about it. It's a game that makes you want to play it over and over again, and you will enjoy doing just that. Along with its stellar gameplay, the game has its own kind of charm. The game is colorful, vibrant, and has its share of memorable and quirky characters. It makes you want to talk to every single NPC. Hell, I encourage you to do it. Look at this frog guy here, for example. Makes tons of puns. As someone whose life support system is based on dumb jokes and memes, this guy brings me new strength every day. The bosses also have some personality to them, making each fight against them stick out in your mind. Look at Tinker Knight, for example. He's a pretty freaking weak guy on his own, but he busts out this huge mech to pit against you. Definitely one of the more memorable fights of the game, but only one of many. As part of their Kickstarter promises, Yacht Club Games has been working on new campaigns for Shovel Knight. Yes, that's right. Even after 2 years since the game's release, the company has still been working on new stuff. They've already released Plague Knight's campaign, and they're working on Spectre Knight and King Knight's campaign. They're full-fledged campaigns that have their own little story to them, and although the levels are pretty similar, they still have some different twists to them. Looking at Plague Knight, his campaign has its own gameplay mechanics and controls very differently from Shovel Knight, so it's probably a nice indication that the other knights will follow suit. Here's the best part of these campaigns though. You get these for absolutely free. Now that's, of course, a big deal. Free? Shovel Knight on its own is only $15, $20 if you get the retail version. I would say that just plain old Shovel Knight is worth the $15, but if this game is throwing in 3 extra characters for free, you better believe this game is worth it. But it doesn't just stop there. If you get the Wii U version, you can get yourself the Shovel Knight amiibo for around $13 and unlock amiibo mode, which is pretty much a cooperative mode. You know, play through the game with another player? What the hell? It also unlocks some challenges, but who cares about those? But seriously, that's amazing. Cooperative mode. Jesus. They even slightly changed the game so it's a bit more fair when you go through it with a second player. You can't just cheese bosses with a second player because they've increased the boss's healths. Bosses' healths? I don't know. Bubbles don't pop when one person bounces on them, they take 2 bounces. You know, you get the whole gist of things. There's probably other details I'm missing, but it just shows that when adding multiplayer to the game, they didn't just stack on a second night and say, hey, have fun, whatever, I guess, yeah, whatever. They took the time to iron out some things to make multiplayer a good experience. Now, it's not an entirely perfect experience because it can be frustrating as hell to play through some levels with a second person. They didn't drastically alter the levels, so some treacherous areas like Propeller Knight stage are still as they are, making them even more difficult with the second person. But it's still a blast, and if you can hook up with some buddy or someone you bought off the street to play games with you, I would highly recommend it. Now, just to give a little bit of a poke at Nintendo, I feel like it's almost ironic that Shovel Knight, a game not even made by Nintendo themselves, has better amiibo integration than pretty much any big Nintendo game. It's $13 for the Shovel Knight amiibo and you get co-op mode and some challenges in there. Pretty good price. $13 for like a Mario amiibo or whatever other amiibo out there. You can get like, I don't know, skin in Yoshi's Woolly World or super tough AI in Smash Brothers. I don't know. It's not really worth it in my opinion. I don't think there's a game out there that has better amiibo content than Shovel Knight, so it's one of the few amiibo out there that's worth the price in my opinion. Nintendo, you really need to step up your game. I suppose I should mention that co-op mode is only for the Wii U version of the game. Shovel Knight is also out for a whole slew of other systems that I mentioned earlier in the review, but you can't play co-op on those systems. I guess it had something to do with the fact that Nintendo had to have Yacht Club games locked something behind the amiibo, but it still stinks for everybody else. On the bright side, however, for you PS4 and Xbox owners, you can fight Kratos or Rash from God of War and Battletoads respectively on those versions of the game. That's cool, right? That's right? Is that not as cool as co-op? Oh. Well, anyway, despite the fact that not every version has certain features, this doesn't hinder it so much. Overall, Shovel Knight is a game that you won't regret buying no matter what system you get it for. If you're sitting on the couch one day and you think to yourself, gee, I should really get around to setting up my NES and playing Super Mario Bros. 3 or something like that, do yourself a favor and instead pick up Shovel Knight. It's like Mario with shovels.